Welcome, guys, to another session. Today, the topic is intentional email management. Okay, today's session is all about your email, your inbox, how you feel about it, how you can approach it, how can you manage it in a different way if that's what you want, understanding the frustrations that you may be experiencing. I just want to bring here not only the practical strategies that you may find online very easily, but also the mental and the emotional component to this topic that is really, really important. Also, the communication aspect. Okay, last week we talked about different kinds of communication and how that can look like, and discovering your communication style and other people's communication styles. And today we're going to be talking about communication through email. Okay, but it's also very important to reflect about anytime you receive an email from a person, from a group, from a coworker. One of the first things that I always invite people to do is, does this need an email? Is email the best approach to this communication? Is email the best way for you to receive whatever information you are seeking? Because many times the answer is no. Many times you don't have to be CC'd in an email. You don't have to receive an email. And maybe stating that boundary and creating that boundary and educating the other people how you best receive information and how you want to give it can be very helpful to reduce dramatically the amount of email that you receive. Okay, but first of all, before getting started, I would like to hear from you. Feel free to use the chat. How do you feel about your email, about your inbox? How does your inbox make you feel? What are the struggles that you are facing, and what are the good things that you are doing that you find are helping you to be on top of your email, if that is your case? I would like to open the floor in the chat for you guys to share and to see where you are at, because I really like to see where you guys are at first, so that we can make this session as meaningful, as relevant as possible for you. So Iga says, my inbox is full. Though steady flow at the moment, I constantly need to clear it. Mora says, too much junk mail. Amazing. So Iga, would you like to share, like, how do you do the maintenance of your inbox? Do you have strategies that you use to keep on top of it? Same for Mora. Jennifer says, overwhelming. I struggle to respond and prioritize. Okay, so you struggle to respond and prioritize because there are too much volume, right? And it becomes overwhelming. So this is an emotion, right? This is, you just become overwhelmed to the point that you get tense. And when we are experiencing a strong emotion, as you guys may know now, if you have joined some of my sessions that I talk about executive functioning skills about emotional self-regulation, and you guys all know how the connection between feeling overwhelmed, feeling stress, feeling anxiety, feeling any of those emotions, and how that impacts your nervous system, how that impacts your capacity to think clearly, to prioritize, to be present, to make good choices. So just notice that if you haven't. Too many interests, difficult to prioritize, inbox overflowing, overwhelmed with the amount that comes in each day. I sometimes miss messages and I need to respond to. So you miss important emails that you can't see because there are too many coming in. Overwhelmed and subsidized from business. I need to scan for importance. I need to learn the functionality much more to my advantage. Learning the functionality, Heidi, that's something that we will talk about. Learning the functionalities of your email inbox. What can you do in there? What are the options that allow you to manage those emails in a different way? If it wasn't for the Gmail search feature, I would lose my mind trying to find all messages that I need. And I use the search option all the time. I no longer have folders like I used to before, because I found that the folders for me, for my style, were not very helpful, and I mostly use the search option. So I really agree with you. It's very, very helpful. even when I unsubscribe, I keep getting notifications. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Subscriptions, right? And how can you manage them in a different way? Iga says, no, I don't have any. Maybe I need another email address, which I do, because Gmail has served me all these years and I made it my storage of photos, articles, etc. Yeah, we'll talk about having different email addresses. That's another strategy that I would like to share with you today that I personally use, and it makes my life way, way easier. Amazing. So guys, thank you so much for sharing. Let me just double check that I didn't miss any. Yeah, too much junk email. Amazing. Unfortunately, Outlook, which I use for work, has an awful search function. Yeah, I am not very familiar with Outlook, but this is where maybe, guys, if you are planning on getting a fresh start when it comes to email, if you are planning on changing your game, your attack to this game, changing the strategy, maybe looking for different options when it comes to email providers can be a first step. Really learning the functionalities of each platform and which one may suit your needs best will be really, really helpful. In my case, I use Gmail, and that's my preference because that's what I have used for the last 10 years, but there are many other options out there. So at the end of the day, it's about how you use it. It's not about the platform itself, okay? Yeah, block them and oh my goodness, have addresses where you know nothing important will ever go. Yeah, so guys, how do you feel if I share some of the strategies that I have here in my journal with you, and then we can get started a conversation here. If any of them you have questions or you want to expand, that will be really, like, I want to flow through this session, but I do have a bunch of strategies that I would like to touch base today, share with you. And then, as always, all the strategies that I share, guys, you don't have to do them all, okay? These are ideas. Here, I want you to tap into your cognitive flexibility, your adaptable thinking. That is the executive functioning skill that allows you to step back and look at all the possibilities, allows your mind to be flexible, allows your mind to brainstorm ideas, and then you check and notice, how do I feel about this idea, this strategy? Wow, this strategy is bringing a lot of emotional resistance. That's something that you can explore, okay? If you find a strategy, but that's not for me, and there is nothing there, there is no resistance, there is no emotional charge, there is no enthusiasm, there is nothing, maybe that's not for you. And if you notice that you are getting super excited, then I will invite you to explore it, okay? So, but don't feel overwhelmed with the strategies, because you don't have to do them all. I recommend that you listen to them. You will have access to the recording after if you want to watch this or listen to this again, and you can take notes if you want to, okay? So are you guys ready? Should we get started with some of the things I have to share? Gonna have a sip of my coffee, and I want you guys to be ready. Amazing. So let's get started. So the first one, it's really setting a clear intention, okay? And this is something that I talk about in everything that you guys do, every area of your life that you are trying to tackle. What is your intention? What are the frustrations that you are experiencing, and what are the intentions that you would like to set? Okay, so if you could snap your fingers and your email, your inbox looks a specific way, how does it look like? How does your relationship with email moving forward looks like? What are the habits that you see yourself following? How many times do you check emails throughout the day, throughout the week? How many email addresses do you see you have? It's really important to visualize all these things, because when you are visualizing, you are kind of creating a new reality in your mind. But the more you create a reality, the more you visualize yourself actually taking action, doing in the day-to-day, week-to-week, you are going to start facing challenges, questions, things that you would like to explore more of, and you are starting to create that new reality in your mind. And then the more clear it becomes, the easier it's going to be for you to implement it in your real life, okay? So think about that. How would you like your relationship with email to look like? How many times do you want to check email? What kind of systems do you feel your brain is going to receive best when it comes to email? And this is where we step into the into the strategies, okay? So some of the strategies that I would recommend that you do first is become familiar with the options that you have in your email provider. For example, I use Gmail. So in Gmail, there are wonderful features that I use every single day. So there is a snooze option. Basically, an email comes in, and if I don't want to look at it until 3 days from now, I can snooze it and it disappears from my inbox and it will come back in 3 days. So that is a wonderful tool, because every time I am responding to an email, looking at an email, my question is, what's next? What is the next step with this email? Do I need to follow up? Do I need to take an action? Do I need to file it somewhere? Can I delete it? So what is the next step about this email? And when you start doing this with each email that you receive, it may look like a lot of work, but if you right now had inbox 0, your inbox was completely empty, and you start fresh now, and you take this approach, you will not have a lot of emails in there because everything will be taken care of, okay? So that is one, to really think about what is the next step. And then in Gmail, I can also schedule emails. So I can type an email and I can say, I want to send this email tomorrow at 8 a.m. because maybe I am home now and I don't want to be interrupted again about this topic. So I'd rather send it tomorrow, 8 a.m. I'm done with it. And tomorrow I will see what comes up. Or maybe next week, maybe the person says, listen, I need this next week because I'm on vacation and I will not look at my email until next Monday. So please send it on Monday. So I will type the email and I will schedule it for Monday. Or I will snooze his email to come on Sunday or Monday morning so that I will type it. See, I am thinking ahead. I'm being proactive. What is the next step? So many times I just say, I don't need this, delete. I don't need this, unsubscribe. This is I can refer to it. This is from a membership I have. This is a receipt I need to keep. I may move it to a folder. I have a folder that is called taxes, and then I have a folder that is called all the rest. All the rest, that's like, it's not my inbox, it's a folder where all the email go there. Gmail also has all mail, I think it's called. It's a generic folder that you can send emails to, so you are not deleting them. You will have access to them. You can search for them. They will appear in a search, but they are not in your inbox. Because what we are looking for here is to keep the inbox, hopefully zero inbox. That's a strategy, right? So Becca says, I prefer to clear my inbox by the end of each day. So that is the strategy that she has. Maybe for you it's the opposite. Maybe it's every morning I will do email. Maybe you do email 3 times a day. So it doesn't matter how you tackle it, as long as you can maintain it. As long as it's a system that you understand, a system that is easy for you to maintain, and it's doable, okay? So when it comes to functionality and features from your email, okay, I really recommend that you maybe go to YouTube and then type, for example, if you are exploring the idea of Gmail, you type Gmail inbox overview or Gmail inbox features. If you are exploring Outlook, if you are exploring a different email provider, it will be really helpful if you type in there and you see first, how does it look like? Do I like it, visually speaking? Does this platform has the settings that I need? And then you get a really good overview in a few minutes, and that can save you a lot of time if you transfer everything there and then you don't like it. Okay, so really investing a little bit of time to make sure that that platform or that email is what you are looking for, you enjoy it, and you become familiar with the functionality and the features that that offers. So some of the features that you can use in majority of email providers and that you can really use are labeling emails. So you can take emails and you can label them so that you have specific labels, and then you can go to those labels and you can find those emails easily, okay? You can create folders and then you can move emails into specific folders. So for example, you can have a folder that says family folder, a folder that says this is my utilities folder, this is my insurance folder, so you can have as many folders as you want. Be aware that folders can be helpful, but they can also become overwhelming. So let me explain that. If you create a structure of folders that becomes really large and really complicated, folders inside folders inside folders, it's gonna be very difficult for your brain to remember. Unless you have a system that you have followed for years and you remember, you will need some kind of guidance for you to remember where to place the email. So anytime you notice that the system, the structure of folders that you have created, it is confusing and you don't remember, that defeats the purpose of using folders to organize email, because it is adding confusion, it is adding stress, okay? So you need to find your happy balance, and every person will be different here. So follow your intuition, test ideas, and if you see that they don't work for you, tweak those ideas, tweak the strategy, change it. One of the things that I strongly recommend is to have a piece of paper and to make a diagram with your strategy, okay? If you want. This is really good for visual people. If you have a board on the wall, you can use that board to create like a diagram of a flow. It's like, how is my email going to flow? This is my inbox. So any emails I receive around finances, my household, bills, stuff like that, I'm gonna place them in this folder. Any emails I receive from work, I'm gonna place them in this folder. Any emails I receive from my friends, they're gonna go into these folders. So think about how you would like to structure that, and then have a diagram that you can look at least the first times that you use the system. And then as you use the system, your brain will become familiar. You will create a habit, and then you will not need that diagram anymore. But at the beginning, it can be really helpful, okay? But again, don't make such a difficult and complicated folder structure that you will have a hard time using, okay? So another one, using canned responses. So this is basically, if you receive emails about the same topic over and over, creating a canned response, that's how it's called in Gmail. That's basically like a template that you can use, and then it populates that text in a response and you can send it. So in our own experience with our business, my wife uses canned responses for speaking engagements. Anytime a company, a university, a group contacts us, say, hey, I would like to hire you guys to come and speak for me. How does it work? What are your topics? Etc. We have a canned response that explains all of that. There are links in there. So we invested some time creating them. But now anytime we get an email like that, we copy paste, we personalize the email a little bit if needed, and we send it. And it takes us way less time than doing email by email. So think in your life about what are the things that are repeating themselves over and over, and then automate them, creating a canned response, a template. That is another one that saves us a lot of time, okay? I talk about the snooze and the schedule and thinking about what is the next step about this email. That is really important. There is another strategy, okay? People talk about the inbox zero. But if you have thousands of emails in your inbox, getting to that inbox zero is really difficult. And it feels that you will never get there, because every day you keep receiving emails. And maybe you sit down and you go through 300 emails, but you still have 900 emails. And then you keep receiving emails every day. So it can be like, it can feel like you never will get it done. So in that case, there are a few strategies that I will recommend that you do. Okay, so one strategy is to separate the reality in two blocks. Okay, one block is the past, and the other block is the present moment and moving forward. So you can create a folder that is called unprocessed email, for example, and you can take all the emails from your inbox and move them there, and that is your to-do. You can carve at that folder as fast or as slow as you want. You can search in that folder for specific emails that you may need, but then your inbox is zero. So you hit inbox zero like that. And that's going to make you feel in control. that's going to give you a fresh start, a reset. And all of a sudden, moving forward from this present moment, you are going to start implementing the strategy that you have chosen, whatever that is. And you are going to start maintaining that inbox zero, hopefully every day. Okay, so that is one strategy, creating that folder where you are going to place all the emails in there, and then you are going to tackle them. And then hopefully when that folder is empty, you will delete that folder and you will be done with all the backlog of emails. Some other people, they declare an email bankruptcy. Okay, have you guys heard of that concept? Declaring an email bankruptcy. The same way that if you don't have any money, you have a lot of debt, sometimes people file bankruptcy and they say, I am broke and I need a fresh start. And all of a sudden, everything is gone, debts are gone, and they have a fresh start. So you can do the same with emails. You can say, you know what? I am in a state of overwhelm every single day. I am not functioning. People are asking me all the time, did you get my email? And I don't know what it is. So if you are in that state, it's not worth it to stay there. If nothing else is working, if you don't have enough time to tackle all those emails, maybe it's better to get a fresh start. And you don't have to do the whole thing all at once, okay? So if you feel like, no, there is important stuff in there that I don't want to delete, so you don't have to delete it, but do the strategy of moving everything into that folder to be processed, and then you can decide how much time you want to invest processing those past emails, but everything that comes from now on, you are in control, you have power, you start from scratch again, and that is a really great feeling. Okay, so that is a wonderful strategy that many people use because they are completely overwhelmed. So talking about having different email addresses, okay, how many of you guys have more than one email address? Like I have more than one email address, okay? I personally, I have one business address that I share with Samantha, with my wife, with my partner. I have my personal email address, and then I have an email address that I use for subscriptions, for spam stuff, for stuff that I need to sign up or I want to read about, but I don't want that stuff to interrupt me every single day. So I have that email address for those subscriptions, emails. Anytime I have to do something online that requires me to give my email, I will give that email because I don't care about that inbox. There is nothing important there. I don't care if I have 3,000 emails unread in there. And it's really good because so many times I have a company I want to learn more about, a product I want to learn more about. I will subscribe to their mailing subscription. And instead of me having to wait every week, I will go back 3 weeks from now and I will read everything all at once. And that will be really helpful for me. Okay? So you say, I have 3, I have 3, I have 4, I have 2, but only check 1. So for those of you who have more than one, like what is your intention about having several? Do you have an intention or you just had them from the past and they kind of accumulated? I'm just curious, did you create them with a specific intention or you just have them because? Two as well, Yahoo, for less important stuff. Yeah, I have 10. Lisa, don't cry. If you have 10, you can always reduce them if you want to, right? Again, you can always declare that bankruptcy and start from scratch with the system that you want. So Naya says work, business, personal, and now subscriptions. Beautiful. Becca says, I like his suggestions to be gentle on our brain rather than allowing the daily repeat of confusion and emotional reaction. Yeah, Becca, that is something that we all get from when we don't feel in control, when we feel overwhelmed, when we had a few rough days and our inbox is getting out of control and all of a sudden we don't have time to go back and do all that stuff. It's not worth it to keep feeling that way moving forward. It's easier to try and do something different. And that's why I am suggesting all of these ideas so that you can prevent that from happening. full-time job versus self-employed business. Amazing. So let me talk more about the idea and the intention behind having different email addresses, okay? So the thinking behind this strategy is for you to really, anytime you are gonna give away an email, someone says, hey, what is your email address? You are going to think in your head, is this work? Is this personal? Is this a subscription? And some of you, maybe, I know some people that they are a part of a board, of a specific NGO or a specific association, that they receive a lot of communication, so they will create an email just for that. Okay, so for example, if I am a part of a volunteering and I do board games in a place, I will maybe create Emilio player or Emilio board game or whatever, and I will have an email address only for that specific purpose. And that's going to make it very easy for me to switch, okay? And here I'm talking about an executive functioning skill that is called transitioning, okay? So transitioning means when you have to transition from being at work to being in family to being social to maybe going and reading about subscriptions that you are interested about. So all of a sudden, the same way that you can transition clearly from thing to thing, this strategy is going to allow you to stay focused. It's going to allow you to don't have interruptions, and you are in control of where your attention is going. So in my case, if I get up in the morning, I take Eva to school, I come back and I am on work mode, I will open my work inbox, okay? If I am tired of working and I am done and I want to move on with my social life and I want to create a weekend with my friends, I will go to my social inbox. If I feel inspired and creative and I want to read about that company, that book, that person that I admire and I want to read more from them, I will go to my subscriptions email address and I will search for that person and I will see every email from that person in one place. So that is how I can stay focused, I can be intentional, and I can make the most out of my time. So this is something that you can start thinking about, okay? This person is asking me for the email. What is this? Okay, so this is a personal thing. Okay. Oh, this is okay. So this is wow, this is, my intuition is telling me that me giving the email to this association, I will then ask, hey, how many emails do you guys receive normally? What is the expectation about me? And if they say, no, you receive maybe 3 emails a week, maybe more, and there are conversations happening, most likely you don't have to participate, but you can refer to them in the future, I would probably say, I'm going to open a new email account just for that purpose, because I don't want to be going to my personal inbox trying to find things, and that will be very distracting for me. Okay, so those are some strategies that you can implement and make your time as intentional as possible. And then Anne says, one, I only check 1-2 times per week with consumer type communications, bank, utilities, etc. So Anne, you brought me to the next topic, okay? And that is, what are the habits around checking email, okay? And I would like to ask you guys, and you can share in the chat, how many times do you check emails throughout the day? Do you have notifications on? Does your phone ping flash or something when you receive a new email? How do you feel when you receive a new email if you are being interrupted like every minute? Like, is that something that affects you? Would you say that that's something that doesn't bother you? Would you say that's something that you want to change? Like, what is your relationship with email on a day-to-day basis? I would like to know where you guys are at. And BD, this is being recorded. Yeah, you will find the recording. You can find it on Insight Timer on my profile link. You can find there all the recordings in there, okay? So I check seldom because there are too many. It's overwhelming. Yeah, so Catherine, would you like to change your intention? Would you like to change the way you approach email? And if the answer is yes, how does that look like? What does your intuition tell you that you will enjoy start doing now? if you could start right now with an inbox zero, what of these strategies that I have shared so far will you feel comfortable implementing? I neglect most of my emails and favor one over the other, as it's more active, my personal one. Yeah, no notifications, it feels like an oppression. Yeah. What does encrypted mean? So encrypted, Becca, means that whatever you are sending, it's being encrypted. So basically, there is a software that will create some sort of rule where if I type, "Hi Becca, my name is Emilio and I am on Insight Timer," if someone were to receive, to intercept that communication, they won't read that. They will read something weird, signs, whatever, because it's been encrypted. So there is a way of encrypting the communication at the beginning, and there is a way of disencrypting that communication so that the person can read what was written. And that's a way to keep things safe in case someone intercepts that communication. That's what encrypted means, okay? I have all email notifications turned off. Curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, so let's talk about the notifications, okay? Because so many times notifications can be helpful for some, destructive for others, annoying for others. So think about your life with notifications. Have you tried not to have them? Have you tried to do a digital cleanse where you don't have anything and then see how you feel, and then integrate things slowly back into your life so that you notice what's happening? Sometimes you have emails for work and you are supposed to be 8 hours a day monitoring that inbox. So of course you cannot turn those off, but maybe you can narrow down, you can really be more specific about the rules of those emails, and you are only listening notifications for the ones that you are responsible for, but everything else is not alerting you all the time. So this is really your choice, but I really invite you to explore different ideas and different approaches here. And one of the ideas that I really want to share with you is to try to do a digital cleanse. I talked about this. I have a session that I'm pretty sure is on Insight Timer, and if not, you can find it in my recordings of the digital cleanse that I did, and there is a book about it. Okay, it's called Minimalism, Digital Minimalism. Okay, so you can explore that idea to really become aware and notice how notifications, how technology, how everything that we are using on a daily basis, the impact that that can have in our mental and emotional health. And once you become aware, then you are going to start creating something different. You're going to start being more intentional. And hopefully when it comes to email, then you can take all these strategies and you can start implementing them in the way that you feel is going to serve your brain and your style and your lifestyle better. Okay? So have you noticed that if you unsubscribe to an email that you then get more random type emails from other companies? So Shelly, that's why I don't recommend that you subscribe to companies with your personal or work email. I recommend that you have a specific email address where you can just use for that purpose, but you don't have to even check it if you don't want to, only when you feel like it. You don't even have to have notifications. Another strategy for those of you who don't want to have more than one email address is to create rules, email rules. And that looks like you can create a folder that is called subscriptions. And then anytime you subscribe to a specific email that you receive emails from, you can say, anytime I receive emails from this email address, I want to automatically move them to this folder that is called subscriptions. And all of a sudden, those emails, they skip your inbox and you don't have to see them in your inbox. That is one way for you to keep your inbox clean. But the problem with that is that they start accumulating, they take space. And if that's not what you want and need, it will become a humongous folder very quickly that then you have to do something about and manage. On the other case, you just have an email address that if you don't want it, you can just delete and start fresh again. So you don't have to worry about anything important being there. That is why I really recommend that you have a specific email address just for those kind of purposes. I also like the idea of structured folders with a visual flow chart. Yeah, Catherine, that is really helpful when you are getting started. I take the same approach when I'm doing paper management. Paper management sometimes it's really helpful also to create a visual kind of like diagram of how your folders are gonna look like in your filing cabinet. I also like to use diagram for finances. When I'm helping people organize their finances, and then we're talking about different bank accounts, different credit cards, how money flows in, how money flows out. They want to save, they have investments, they need to pay bills. So all that stuff that is very confusing, it becomes very clear when you can put it in a piece of paper, and then you can start connecting them. And then when you are looking at that diagram, all of a sudden you can start changing that strategy. You can change the flow, you can be more intentional. And once you are done, it's gonna be easier for you to follow that plan the first time, because you're gonna look at that and you're gonna have a guidance. And when you do that a few times, it will become a habit. That's what happens. When you repeat something with presence a few times, it will become automatic for your brain. And then you will be able to do it without having to look at that chart. If you have someone else helping you, someone else that you need to talk to about that thing, you can show them the diagram and they will be like, wow, I understand, because it's very clear. Everything is here. So that is wonderful if you have a business, if you have someone that helps you manage your finances, if you want to get on the same page with your partner, having something that is visual, something that you can talk together about and you can test and tweak easily without having to log into different places is very helpful. Really, really helpful. Okay. Yeah, so Lynn says, not a fan of notifications. Your suggestions are very helpful. My inbox has become overwhelming and I tend to avoid my email, which compounds my stress. I do use multiple email accounts. So Lynn, this is a really good example about how does your new relationship to email looks like. What would you like to create instead? And this is the first step. Like, what would you like to create first? What is something that appeals to you? What is something that your brain is saying yes to because it feels manageable? This is your opportunity to really start doing something different, because that's the truth. We need to accept what we have until now is not working anymore. It's creating clutter, it's creating stress. I am overwhelmed, I am avoiding. And that is emotional self-regulation. You are noticing a strong emotion showing up. And then you are noticing that you are procrastinating because it's too difficult, it's too uncomfortable. Maybe you don't know how to do it. Maybe it will take a lot of time. And it's just easier to avoid it, but you are not really, it's not an option to avoid it because it's still costing you. The more you avoid it, the more it's going to compound and the more your anxiety is growing at the same time. That's why it's important to start doing something about it. Okay? So what else? Yeah, very important to really be aware of whatever system you create, guys. It has to be a flexible system. This system is going to evolve as you evolve. It's going to evolve with your needs and wants. And your life is not gonna stay stagnant, always the same. You are gonna keep evolving, you're gonna keep changing. Maybe one day you start a business, maybe you close it, maybe you start volunteering for an association, maybe you stop doing that, maybe you get interested in a specific industry and you start receiving a lot of emails, and then after you stop. So anytime your life evolves, that's gonna have some sort of impact with your email. Okay, and then that's your opportunity to decide, okay, I'm starting this new career, I'm starting this new volunteering opportunity, I joined this group that they communicate through email. Is it worth it for me to create a separate email account? Can I create a folder in my inbox? Is this business or personal? And then you start questioning, and then you start becoming really intentional about how you do it. And you start being very you preserve your personal email, your business email, as much as you can so that they don't become overwhelming down the road. Okay? Yeah, so, and then the last one is the 1 minute rule. This is something that you will find online, the 1 minute rule. That basically means when you are sitting, okay, and you're gonna do emails, let's say that you say, I am going to check emails 3 times a day, and I allow myself 1 hour each time, half an hour each time, 15 minutes each time. I don't know, depending on your volume, you will assign different amounts of time. But imagine that you assign yourself for 1 hour and you have 100 emails, and then you go through the emails. How do you prioritize? What do you do? What does getting your email done mean? Okay, if you are reading an email and that email is requesting you to write something that is going to take you 2 hours, of course, that's not an email task. That is something else. Okay, so when you start checking your emails, you have to apply this 1 minute rule. You can change the 1 minute to 2 minutes to 5 minutes. You get to choose that. But the concept is you open the email, you read it, and then you will think about, is this something I have to do? And if the answer is no, can I delegate it to someone? Can I delete it? Can I snooze it to a different time because I don't have to do it now? Or can I, so what do I have to do with this? So you choose that, right? And then if there is no action required, then it's great. But if there is an action required, if it's less than a minute, do it, be done with it. But if it's gonna take you 20 minutes, 1 hour, then you have to create a task in your calendar. You have to assign time for that specific task, okay? And then how you do that is gonna look different depending on your system, depending on your time management. And if you guys are thinking, oh no, time management, I really suck at that. No, you don't. You just maybe don't have the right strategies yet. And guess what? I have a course about intentional time management that you can take. Woohoo! So you are not alone. You have resources, okay? But there is a distinction between doing your emails and getting lost into doing the tasks that every email is going to demand from you. And this is something that you have to be aware of. If you only have 1 email in the inbox, then do it. But if you have 10 and you only have 10 minutes, then you have to be aware, like, I will not have the time to finish this. So do you choose to finish the inbox and prioritize things and schedule things that are needed from you? Or do you choose to stop checking the inbox and go and do that specific task, knowing that you will not be able to finish your inbox? That is when you have to start making choices, okay? So guys, what do you feel about all of these strategies? Do you have any specific questions? I know I shared a lot of stuff, but as I say, you don't have to do them all. I really want you to be aware of the options, and now you can start choosing with intention what you want. I have a course for that. Yes, he does. Emilio's famous phrase. So many of us, especially who are older, need more digital literacy. Yeah, and this is why today with YouTube, with so many resources, with these kind of sessions that I offer and many other people offer, you have access to a lot of information and strategies. So it's just a matter of finding the right one for you. Love the idea of a spam subscription email. Thank you. Amazing. I hope that you can implement that, Narjas, and I hope that that starts working for you, and your inbox starts decreasing the volume of emails that you guys have. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this session, I always accept donations. That's how I fund my time, and you can support me like that. And you can also support me by joining any of my courses. If you are interested, I have different ones that you can explore. Okay. I hope that you guys got value from today's session. I hope that you can start thinking and visualizing your new approach to email. Okay. And I hope that you can, if you are a visual person, that you can create that visual diagram on how things could look like, the step-by-step process on how you would like to manage your email, the habits around you checking and maintaining your email, any of the strategies that you feel called to try and test, without expectations. They don't have to work. You can always change and tweak them. This is not a set to stone recipe. This is you starting to try something different until you find what works for you. Okay? Always with compassion, with patience, with curiosity, and hopefully having fun. I know that this is overwhelming for many, but just imagine how much fun it's gonna be when you have inbox zero every day. How are you gonna feel? And what are you going to do with that extra time that you will have? Love the idea of structured folders, but wish you could show visuals, Emilio. Yeah, I wish I could share my screen or something here, but again, all of these strategies, guys, if you type them on Google, you will find thousands of examples. Okay, my job here is to plant the seed in your brain, to give you an overview of the possibilities that you have, and then how to do them, implementing them, learning more about them. It's very easy. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Google, you can read thousands of blogs, you can find information in so many different ways. You can read books. I did cover a book from Julie Morgenstern that was called Don't Check Emails in the Morning, I think it was called. That is a wonderful book. There are many books about email and strategies, but the most important piece is the emotional self-regulation piece, the intention piece, so that you don't get lost in the strategies, okay? Thank you. Time to start a new relationship with my emails. Amazing. Becca says, let's add to our inbox the email received for donation to Emilio. Thank you. Well, guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And I am going on vacation, okay? I'm gonna go on vacation to the south, to Andalusia, south of Spain with my family. And I won't be here until July something. I have some live events scheduled for after, okay? But you won't see me the next week and the following one. So I hope that you guys have an amazing time until we see each other again live. And you are not alone. You have all my courses. You have a lot of recordings that you can listen to. So keep learning, keep staying curious, keep taking action, and join the circle if you want more support. It's called Your Thriving Lifestyle. And I will keep supporting you guys in the course classrooms of my courses. If you take them and you participate in there, I will keep checking those, okay? And yeah, amazing. And as always, if you find this session helpful, share it with other people that you feel they may benefit from, okay? If you're listening to the recording or watching it, just share it, place a comment below, do whatever you have to do, okay? Very grateful to have you guys here, and yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day. Adios.